Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're doing a short demo and guide for the Elite Barbarian, and we're going to be talking about the physical setup. I know that there are more setups for Elite Barbarian, but I haven't looked into them deep enough to actually give a guide on them. So we're going to be focusing on physical Elite Barbarian. It's one of the, old reliable type builds that uses the leap attack skill. So let's talk a little bit about what is leap attack and what is it good for, and then we can talk more about like attributes, gear, mercenary, and do a quick demo. So leap attack is a skill from the combat skill tree. Basically a leap and then an attack. And the idea is you want to basically be juicing your damage so much that you leap once and everything dies as you land, and then you go to the next build. It's kind of a glass cannony barb. You'll see that my health is really low for a barb build, and that's kind of how it's played. It's very low in defensive. I don't know how people like to play this on hardcore. You can get more health, you can get more PDR on it, but it really hinders the effectiveness of the build. So I'm not making any recommendations for hardcore. I'm just describing what I know about the build. So generally speaking, this build has two synergies, leap and bash, and free prerequisites. That's 63 total points in this skill tree. You'll be wanting to max your battle commands because it gives you enhanced damage and plus free skills. That's free 23 more points with the prerequisites. Then in masteries, you want to be maxing your general mastery and get a point into natural resistances, and then you can get increased speed if you want. In total, this build requires all of your skill points. It's a very skill point hungry type of build. So in order to get your priorities straight, you'll be maxing leap attack first, and then you'll be maxing general mastery, get a point in natural resistances, and then if you play more in group scenarios, get yourself like 20 points in battle command. If you play more solo, you can max your synergies first and then do battle command last. And generally speaking, you don't need combat reflexes and increased speed. You don't have to get them, but you can, and it's like a little bit more HP too, which you are missing. So that's generally how you do it for the skills, in my opinion at least. Maybe other people do it differently. For the attributes, you put 0 points into dexterity, 0 points into energy, unless you really have to put points into dexterity for something that you're wearing. Generally, that shouldn't be the case. That's not the weapons that you use on this build. And I put 0 points into vitality. Yes, this is a full strength build, full monkey mode, just as much damage as you can, glass cannon it up. So that's how you set up the build. Now, what is it good for? Why should you play this build? So if there is a build that you're looking for, if the build that you're looking for is as lazy as possible, where you just hold your right click and can turn off your brain, kill stuff, not think about it too much, I think this is definitely the build for you. I think from all the builds on Barb, I know I say like Whirlwind is like easy to play. I know I say that like a lot of builds are like easy to play, but this build really does not need your attention too much. You're really just invulnerable most of the time. When you're leaping, things cannot hurt you, only when you land. So most of the time, if you're holding your right click, you will be safe. Again, don't be too crazy if you're in like tier 3 maps, or if you're like a super dangerous area and you're leaping, you might die, but generally speaking, especially in tier 1 maps, you're very safe and you can just kind of hold your right click as you go. So that's a leap, very nice and comfortable build. I played it for 3 days. I played it for 6 to 8 hours in a row, and I had no problems with my wrists or with my hands. I didn't feel any pain or anything like that, which is really nice, refreshing feeling from a build in PD2. So I was really happy with this build. Now let's talk gear. How do you build this? You'll see that I have 2 weapons in my inventory right now. Generally speaking, the entry weapons for this build are normally the mauls. The reason is because they have a lot of damage, they require a lot of strength, and you have a lot of strength to wear them. So that's like one reason. You will want a 2-handed weapon, generally speaking, and the bases you're looking for are either thunder mauls, the martels, which is like Gavel of Pain. I don't have one right now on me. So Gavel of Pain, a cranium basher, or you can use like the IK Maul, or a wind hammer in the beginning. So just like as entry weapons, these unique weapons are good, but eventually you'll want to be moving on to an ogre maul. The reason is ogre maul has great minimum damage with really high average damage. It's one of the best bases for you. Other than that, you can use something like an ancient axe. It also has really high minimum damage. So these two bases are generally the best ones. But a cranium basher early on, you can get it with like a bad slam like this, 4 sockets. Like you can get it for pretty cheap, and it will do fine for you for tier 3s even. Like you'll be able to map in tier 3s somewhat effectively. But still, this is the end goal. And this is not even a very good weapon. Like I'll already say it in advance. Like you can get 700 ED total weapons, which is kind of like the goal, or even have amplified damage on your weapon, which would be great. So generally speaking, you're looking for a crafted weapon. That's your end goal. But you can start with a cranium basher, a gavel of pain, IK weapon, or a wind hammer, or I forget the name. Glorious axe based executioner's justice. All of them can be okay if you just put a bunch of ohms in them. That's like or just like flat ED jewels, and you'll be fine to just kind of get started. So that's kind of like for the weapon. Again, the weapon, you want to have as much minimum damage as possible once you're all bowed up and all buffed up, right? You want to get this as high as possible. If you're getting to like 16 to 20k, then you're kind of like starting to get strong. If you're getting to like 24, 25k damage, then now you're like very powerful and you can like clear maps very easily. I haven't reached that point yet, but that is kind of like the end goal. So for your rest of the gear, if we're talking helmets, I really recommend running a halberds. The reason is this build is really fragile. Having like some PDR in your gear really helps being consistent. If you're not running halberds, running a Veil of Steel is a more aggressive option if you want to go for it. I didn't have it in the GSF, so I didn't test with a Veil. I tested with a halberds. So you have halberds as a defensive option. Veil is an aggressive option. If you want another defensive options, Crown of Ages is your friend, right? Crown of Ages has a lot of sockets, PDR resistances, and faster hit recovery. Again, I don't think you need to go full defensive. I think halberds is a great choice. It gives you attack rating as well, which is very nice, even though your attack rating normally is fine. You'll see that if I remove this, I lose a lot of attack rating. So yeah, I lose a lot of attack rating without it. So it's always nice to have good attack rating. I like halberds and I recommend using it. Otherwise, Veil of Steel is great, or using Crown of Ages is a more defensive option. Vampire Gaze is a super defense if you really want. If maybe in hardcore people use it, I'm not sure. If you want like really high PDR, then Vampire Gaze is not bad. For armors, in terms of intro armors, Fortitude is a friend to any any physical build. Running a Fortitude, we tried it. It's pretty nice. Gives you resistances, a lot of enhanced damage, and it really is pretty good. You'll see that it buffs my damage just slightly compared to the G-Bane. So just slightly, but I decided to not go with it in the end. I really like G-Bane. I think G-Bane is really powerful for a build like this. The reason is the critical strike really helps. The cannot be frozen helps. You don't really have like other slots to get CBF from unless you're slamming like an amulet. So grabbing it from this is really nice. But the critical strike combined with your crit strike from your general mastery and from any deadly strike source means that you'll be proccing your critical pretty consistently, and really helps the clear be very consistent. Otherwise, running like a PDR armor with a lot of enhanced damage I think could be really good. So something with like 20 plus PDR and like very high ED could be a very strong armor for this, again making it a little bit more reliable, maybe also for the hardcore crowd. So I think I have like an example of that over here. So an armor like this, again 24 PDR, high ED, can be a great option for you if you want to run something like this. If it has all res as well, that's even better, because it covers like some of your shortcomings in terms of res. I ended up with G-Bane, that's like very achievable armor for most people. Fortitude otherwise also very achievable. For the belt, String of Ears is my go-to. PDR, you can get life leech from it as well, which is all you need on the belt, really. You want that PDR so you're not too fragile, so you don't disappear. There's not really too many super aggressive belts that you want to run otherwise, so that's really what I'm recommending. For the gloves, running soul drainers for the minus enemy physical resistance is the go-to. Generally slammed with ED or Deadly Strike, but these are slammed with all res. I'm missing all res, so it kind of helps me cap myself. So that's what we're going for. For the boots, I'm using War Travelers. And for people who never seen like how much damage difference War Travelers make, this is a really good build to display it on. You'll see that me removing this like 15 to 25 damage reduces my damage by quite a bit. Let's say I do it on this one, it will be easier to see. I'm at 8600 minimum damage. I'm pretty sure it will go down by like 300 or 400 if I remove these. Yeah, 400 damage lost over here on the Cranium Basher, even more lost on this one. So War Travelers are great pair of boots, especially if you're running G-Bane, so you don't really need a critical like the Deadly Strike from something like Gore Riders. But the three types of boots that you'll be using mostly are Gore Riders, War Travelers. I like War Travs, they give you MF as well, and you'll be using Gorefoot. Gorefoot is specifically made for leap. I don't think they're very necessary. They give you faster leap, so if your damage is high enough and you don't need War Travs, you can run Gorefoot, the blue boots that nobody uses. So you can generally use them. I don't have them. I didn't end up using them. I really like War Travelers. That's my go-to boots for this build. Also, it's nice to have something with some better chance of fighting magical items. You know, just a little bit of MF doesn't hurt. Alright, let's talk about the jewelry. We have the amulet, and I'm using an Atma Scarab to proc amplify damage. If you have amplify on your weapon, you don't need Atmas, of course, and you'll be using one of two other amulets. One of them being Saracen's. Let me show what Saracen's is for the people at home who don't know. Give me a Saracen. Surely I have one here. There's a High Lord, but I want a Saracen's. So yeah, Saracen's. Benefits of Saracen's: gives all resistances, gives enhanced damage, gives all attributes. So overall, everything that you like, pretty much. Saracen's a really nice amulet for physical builds. I'm a big fan. If you're running G-Bane, you don't really need the critical strike or deadly strike from the High Lord. You can just run Saracen's. It's a little bit more consistent damage. And again, you can see the difference that Saracen's makes. You'll see that, like, right now I'm bowed up. You can see Saracens make quite a bit of a difference. Let me show it on the other weapon as well. Right, this 200 minimum damage on the T-Maul, and 1k maximum damage. So Saracens is really nice. Of course, Deadly Strike from the High Lords doesn't hurt, but you already have Critical Strike and the Crit Strike from your Master, and these do not stack. Generally, this is more than enough to keep you critting consistently, like the G-Bane. So I like Saracens, I like Atmas, I like High Lords. If I'm running Fortitude, for example, I'll use a High Lord, then it becomes very strong. So all sorts of options, combinations, up to you guys, what you want to run. But I've been running Atmas just to kind of see the amp pop in. Ideally, you don't use Atmas. The amp from Atmas is not super good, and you end up using an amp weapon with just high ED. So that's ideally not using Atmas, and you'll be using Saracens or High Lords. For the rings, you want one Wisp Projector to get that Spirit of Wolverine. It gives you more AR, it gives you more damage. No reason to lose it. See, I lost just like a bit of damage, bit of AR. No reason to lose it. Keep it with you at all times. Right, it helps your damage. Don't lose it. For the other ring, I'm using an all res dual leech damage ring. You've seen me using that a lot. It's just like a very nice ring. It helps me get my res up, which is definitely something I've been struggling with otherwise. And gives us dual leech, makes our leech more consistent. Gives us some extra damage. Really nice physical ring. If you don't need this ring, you can always use a BK set ring to get yourself more PDR. Where's my BK set ring? If I left it here, I probably left it somewhere else. There we go. So you can always use something like this just to give you more PDR, more enhanced damage. That's definitely fine. But yeah, you'll basically choose the ring glass. This piece of your gear is kind of like I need to plug holes in my build, and you basically do with this ring. That's at least my opinion. That's how I use that slot. Now let's talk about charms. For the charms, you'll be preferring to run combat skillers with life. The reason you want to run combat skillers is because they give you minimum damage, unlike max damage lifers. So these give you minimum damage. If I remove all of my beacons, my minimum damage will go down. You don't see it, I guess, because yeah, because it's hard to see on this weapon. Let me grab the Cranium Basher again. Okay, you'll see that every time I remove a combat skiller, it reduces my minimum damage by like 50. So losing minimum damage is worse than losing maximum damage because you want consistent jumps that one shot. You don't want to overkill whatever you're hitting. So you want to be using combat skillers. They are best for this build, but if you can't use them, you can use max damage charms. That's also okay. For the small charms, some res, some max damage AR lifers is okay. For the small charms, that is what it is. Just that's what you can use. And 2 skill Annie, a torch, that's what we go for. And that's basically it for the gear and charms on this build. For the Mercenary, I like running the Act 2 Mercenary. I'm running the the Blessed Aim Mercenary, so he gives us a lot of attack rating. So you don't need all these charms. Like even without these charms, I'll have enough attack rating. He also gives us Deadly Strike, so 15 Deadly Strike in addition to all of that AR. I'm running him with Templar's Might and Pride to maximize our damage as much as possible. And he has like a V-Gaze for PDR. He has a Noscoil and Drax for some Leech, and CBF from Marowaks. So that's basically my setup for the Mercenary. If you want like a more defensive setup, you'll use the Act 2 defensive Merc. Maybe, again, the hardcore players might want that. Again, these are not tips for hardcore. These are tips for softcore, because that's the mode I'm playing on right now. And let's put these back in here. And let's make a map now and do a quick demo. This build is not used for bossing, so I'm just going to show a quick map demo. And then we'll be good to go. So let's imbue it. It has 89 density. Generally speaking, you want to avoid max life maps if you can. I don't have to. And physical reduced, I guess, also, but I'm not going to reroll this a second time. I don't have any Whirlstone shards. I kind of ran out, so I guess we're not slamming this map, but you'll have to forgive me for that. I guess it is what it is. And okay, let's move on to a map demo. Right, it's time. So let's make sure we have HP before we do that. We bow ourselves, and I didn't really talk about it, but on the swap, I always carry a Demon Limb. It's more damage, it's more attack rating. No reason not to have it. You're not gonna have a teleport stick on this build. You're not gonna have like, you know, you can use like a Mang Song if you want to have a better bow. That's definitely okay. Nothing wrong with that. But as you can see, most thing I'll just jump over and they will just kind of die. And that is kind of the simplicity of this build. Again, a very simple to play, low attention required type of build. Can definitely put on a movie and just enjoy your time, or whatever you're watching on the side. I don't know what people are watching anymore. But yeah, very, very simple to play build, simple to build as well. This build wouldn't be too expensive to set up. At least my current setup is very cheap and wouldn't require a lot from like a new player, so it's very achievable. Again, it depends on like if you enjoy this kind of playstyle or not. Some people, you know, sometimes they don't like either the animation or like how simple it is. But that's okay, of course. But we showcase all kinds of builds so everybody can enjoy something. And if there's one weakness to this build, I'd say definitely killing bosses is a little bit slower on this kind of build. You'll see that like we don't do a lot of damage to him. So it takes us a bunch of hops to actually kill him. But that's another reason why having like an Act 2 Merc is good. They also help you with damage a little bit for the bosses. Okay, as you can see, otherwise, most monsters, if we leap once, they die. There are some with higher physical res, like the maggots. They definitely take a few more leaps sometimes. Yeah, that is just what it is. With a more like a GG kind of setup, this is again not geared, not crazy jewels, not crazy anything. A very like average-ish weapon. So with better setup, like you will one-shot all of these as well, and you will be a lot more consistent. But even like this, you can see that I can like pretty much one-shot most things. And this is kind of the Elite Barbarian. There's not a lot of secrets to it, not a lot of tech, not a lot of knowledge you need to acquire. Very simple to pick up and play. Yeah, it's you know, the good old reliable. Now we always finish the map just in case we drop like a big rune or a big item while mapping. It does happen, so gotta love it. Oh, that was sometimes can't tell when something is a unique. And something some people may not know about Leap, like some people may be asking themselves, this weapon is ethereal. I guess I forgot to mention that. But I don't have self-repair, I don't have a Zod rune inside, it's not indestructible. Leap actually does not use durability. I guess this is an important thing. I'll put like a note in the in kind of like the description. So it doesn't use durability, so you can use any weapon that's ethereal. You always want an ethereal weapon for this build, because you don't need to invest a Zod rune in it for it to work. So remember, if you make a weapon and you think, oh, is it good, is it bad? Remember that you have one extra, you know, rune slot, one extra socket to kind of put extra damage in for the weapon, which makes this build again slightly different than others in how it uses weapons, which is nice to see. You know, it's refreshing. This is physical immune. This is another benefit of having halberds. You gain immediate access to battle cry to lower enemy physical resistances and break immunities. Gotta love halberds. What a nice helmet. Now there are different ways to build this, you know, the Leaper. There is like a type of proc build, which uses different weapons that have a chance to cast on striking. You'll see that I'm casting lightnings, just my weapon has like a lightning cast on striking. But there are builds that focus on that. I never looked into them too deeply. Some of them do seem rather strong, and they could give this build a little bit more AoE, which is something that is definitely a downside. As you can see, like I need to leap like around and kind of hit things a lot in order to actually clear them. So getting more AoE on this build would definitely be nice. I do think they could definitely benefit from a little bit of a push in terms of AoE to make it a little bit more consistent. Yeah, overall, it's very enjoyable, very simple. In group scenarios, it is very, very nice to have a Leaper, because again, you're safe for most of the time. Every time that I'm in the air, I cannot be hit. So if I make these kind of like big jumps, I can just follow along with a team. Bless my soul. And not be in too much danger. That is pretty much like our map. I don't know how long we've been here, about like 5 minutes or so. It's about as much as it take me to finish a map normally. Of course, an experience shrine at the end of the map, absolute classic. And yeah, that is the Elite Barbarian. Not gonna drag it any longer. This is the build. That's how it works. It's pretty simple. It's very enjoyable. And yeah, if you do want a simple build that doesn't take too much from you, whether it's from like currency or from you know, from your wrists, from your health, this is definitely the build for you. With that said, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next stream or the next video. Have a good whatever you're having. Until the next time, bye bye bye.